So Amy came into my life a couple years ago. I was in college and my friend and crush at the time introduced me to this cool dating site called OkCupid. I was a little skeptical at first because I never really thought that I could connect with someone I met online. But I thought, why not? So anyway, I decided to start building a profile that night. And before I completed my profile, I decided to look and see who my top matches were. And this picture kept popping up on my top matches. She was so adorable. But I didn't want to message her right away because I had nothing on my profile and I didn't want to look like a creeper.
No creepers.
So I went back to building my profile. And the next day I got on and noticed that the same girl who I was really interested in had sent me a message.
I had been a member of OkCupid for about 4 years prior to September 2009. People would message me and I'd look at their profiles, but ultimately I'd be disappointed and discouraged. One day a new face appeared on my top matches. Her blue eyes immediately caught mine, and I couldn't look away. I looked at her pretty bare profile and saw that she was into some of the things I was into, namely writing, poetry, stuff like that. For 4 years, I never took the initiative to message anyone until this day. I couldn't stop staring at her, so I took a chance.
So I was working at a theme park at that time, and I decided to ask her if she wanted free tickets to the park so she could come meet me. Thought that was the best place to meet, very public and not exactly a date. So, if things didn't go well, then we just wouldn't date and it wouldn't be awkward. So anyway, I saw her walking through the park with her friend and I immediately knew who she was. She was too cute to be anyone other than the girl that I was interested in. So anyway, I started waving at her and she saw me and immediately ran up to me and gave me a hug. It was an instant connection. It was a great day.
We sent messages back and forth for a couple of days, each message becoming longer and longer until basically we were writing mini novels to each other. I decided to give her my number so that we could text and ultimately call each other. And eventually she invited me to the theme park that she worked at so that we could meet in person without it being creepy or weird. A friend and I were walking towards the back of the park when I saw someone waving at me. My breath caught in my chest and my initial crazy nervousness settled. I ran over and gave her a huge hug without even thinking, and that's the moment I knew that this was going to be very different, and it's going to be different from anyone I ever dated, because we connected instantly.
We went on our first date 4 days later, after we had met. She met me at my apartment with a bouquet of lilies. We headed off to one of my favorite restaurants, Tokyo, and after some delicious sushi, we came back to my apartment, and we watched a movie. I think we watched Hair. I don't remember. All I remember was the kissing afterwards.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember much of the movie or much of the date, because trying to pay attention to a movie while having this cute girl cuddle behind you, how can you pay attention? The movie ended, and me being awesome, I went in for a kiss. I drove home afterwards and quickly had to Google how to get rid of a hickey. It didn't work.
So 3 days after our date, exactly a week after we had met, I gave her another ticket to come to the park. This time, after the park was closed, I brought her home with me, and we watched my favorite movie, Thoroughly Modern Millie, although I can't really say we watched much of it because shortly after it began, she pulled out this little cootie catcher, and inside it had a poem, one of the cutest poems ever, and she asked me to be her girlfriend. Of course I said yes. How couldn't I? I would read it out loud right now, but I'm not sure how she would feel about me reading that. so I won't.
A week after we met in person, and a little less than a month after messaging her, I pulled out a fortune teller that I had made with a poem asking her to be my girlfriend. I like to think I took her by surprise, but I had a feeling she knew my intention.
Last year, we decided to move in together. I thought it would be different living with someone, but it didn't feel like much of a change at all. I guess we were already spending so much time together that it already felt like we lived together. But I do know that I want to stay like this forever. So I proposed to her last summer. The night I proposed to her, we walked around downtown. It was after dark, and I was hoping to find a quiet, well-lit space where no one was around. And we walked for probably 40 minutes or so, and we approached the courthouse. No one was around. The street lights lit the stairs perfectly. So I thought, awesome, this is perfect. So I pretended like I needed to sit down. And as we approached the stairs, she went to sit down, and I knelt down in front of her. And I pulled a ring out of my pocket. And the first thing she said, before I could even open my mouth, and said, "No!" But of course that wasn't her answer. I asked her to marry me, and she threw her arms around me and gave me kisses and blushed and giggled and tried on the ring. And after at least most of the blushing and giggles had subsided, she finally said, "Oh, and by the way, yes."
I can't wait for us to start our family. We're going to look for a house soon, and one day we will definitely have kids. Elijah Wayne and Mariah Joe.
She has baby fever right now, and I keep telling her that we can't afford one yet. Babies are just too expensive. But one day we will definitely have one or two.
Our life together is beginning, and I know we will be very happy together. I love her, and I cannot wait to spend every day as her wife.
We plan to retire in Nova Scotia, Canada. Beautiful scenery and very gay-friendly. Plus there's fresh fish. I love fish. And I love boating. There's not a single place on the province where you can't get to the beach in 40 minutes or less. Oh, and bonus, that's where Ellen Page is from.
Why can't I just hug a woman with my legs in friendship?
Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the girl you love and hold her tight. So happy together.